Thank you very much, Rabbi Cohen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, we just got back from a trip. We took 15 guys, and we went to Philadelphia, and then we went to Lakewood, New Jersey. And we studied a tremendous amount of Torah, of Talmud. Many of these fellows had not that much experience in studying Talmud. It was fascinating. They said they never knew there was so much depth to Jewish law. Seeing this town, Lakewood, it's incredible. 6,500 students engaged in about 10 hours at least a day of Torah study. It was fascinating. The sea of people studying Torah, the sounds were amazing. You see cell phones lined up outside the study hall. They don't want to bring their cell phones in, so they shouldn't be disturbed by the ringing in the middle. I'm sure there's someone on call for emergencies. We went to a cafe because we got tired in the middle. We needed a little picking up some caffeine. And the proprietor of the cafe said, "So guys, what are you studying?" And we told him the topic, and he started talking with us on the topic of Torah. This is the owner of a cafe. It's a city permeated with Torah, and it was an amazing thing to see. We met one of the deans of this incredible yeshiva, Rabbi Olshan. And he shared with us a thought I want to share with you this evening. In this week's portion, we are introduced to the third of the patriarchs, Jacob. Jacob had a twin brother, and his name was Esau. And the Torah introduces us to them, and it describes Jacob as being a simple man, an Ishtam, a simple man who was Yoshev Ohalim. He would sit in tents, he was diligent, he was somebody who was driven, he was a seeker who sought out knowledge, he would study a lot. Esau, his brother, we're told, was an Ish Sadeh, a man of the field. He was idle, he was somebody who didn't want to be involved, work too hard in anything of substance, a hunter. And the question that the rabbi asked was, if you look at who these people really are, for example, Jacob, he studied Torah for 14 years, we're told by the Talmud, 14 years where he didn't even sleep in a bed. He put his head down on the table when he got tired, wake up and continue his study. He was someone who encountered angels on a regular basis. He communed with God. And yet we're told a very, very simple introduction. He was a seeker, somebody who sought out knowledge. Esau, who was he? He was somebody who killed people for sport, a murderer, a real fiend. He would have his way with women, whether they were married or not, whether they were willing or not. A really awful person. And yet he's described as being someone idle, somebody who didn't want to work too hard for anything of meaning. The descriptions seem to fail in describing to us who these people are. Why does the Torah use that terminology and expression in telling us about these two individuals, Jacob and Esau? And this is what the great Rabbi Olshan told us. He said, you know, it's important to know who they had become, but what's even more important is to know how they got there. They started off in a very similar place. They were born into the family of Rebekah and Isaac, raised in the same house. They started on the same road, but that fork eventually took them to very different places. Because when you have a split in the road, two paths that diverge from one another, even if it's a very small angle apart, eventually they'll end up in very far away places from each other. And one of the greatest attributes and accolades somebody can have is that they are a seeker. They want knowledge, they want to study, they want to become great. And that drive will bring them to a really great place. Somebody who doesn't want to work, somebody who is just idle, wastes his time, will get into pretty bad stuff, and that will lead him astray. Jacob was somebody, though, the founder of the Jewish people, somebody who really worked hard, he was driven. We met another really great rabbi, Rabbi Shmuel Kamenetsky, probably one of the greatest rabbis in America. He was talking about studying Torah. He was talking about his very, very busy regimen of Torah study. And he said, you know, I see myself, he's 93 years old, teaching, standing for an hour, teaching 30, 40 students. He met with a group from Berlin right before he met our group. And he said, you know, I see myself as a student. He said, you are always a student. In Hebrew, we call a scholar a Talmid Chacham. Talmid means a student. And that was who our great forefather Jacob was, a student, someone who sat in the tent, and that was his path that led him to greatness. Thank you.